After 8 years of marriage, my husband disregarded my opposition and brought his cancer-stricken first love home. Vicious woman, you have no compassion at all, you can't even compare to half a strand of Mira's hair. My son also sided with him, cursing me, saying if I didn't let Mira in, he wouldn't recognize me as his mother. I completely gave up and divorced, accepting an invitation from the design industry to return to my peak. But they cried their eyes out after seeing the fake cancer certificate. Wife, I was deceived by her, I've always loved you. Mom, don't you want Caleb anymore? I'm your only child. I didn't even spare them a glance. What mad dogs, blocking my way to receive the award. Mira is in very poor health now, I've decided to bring her home to take care of her. I lowered my head, and corresponding to the steaming meal was a cancer notification. This was Lucas's gift for our 8th wedding anniversary. Seeing my unhappy expression, Mira leaned weakly in his arms and said, "Lucas, forget it, I see Serena doesn't welcome me. Besides, I'm almost dying, just leave me alone." "Mira, don't talk nonsense, you'll get better." After saying that, Lucas roared at me, "Serena, are you even human? You can't even tolerate a patient, how can you set an example for Caleb with such cold-bloodedness?" After hearing his father's command, Caleb waved his little hands and hammered my leg. "You're bad. If you don't let the pretty aunt in, I don't want you as my mom." The hot soup on the table had completely cooled, just like my heart. 2 similar faces, one big and one small, were righteously accusing me. One was the man I had loved for 8 years, and the other was the child I had raised for 7 years. During the countless nights when Lucas didn't come home, if I had any last hope, it was Caleb. Once upon a time, he would hold my hand and sweetly call me Mom. But now, for another woman, he threatened not to want me as his mom. In an instant, disappointment outweighed anger. I mocked myself with a laugh and turned to go back to my room. But Lucas called out to me, "Serena, Mira is a patient, let her sleep in your room. Pack your things now and move to the attic from now on." I took a deep breath, went straight into the room, and with trembling hands, dialed that familiar number. "Lydia, I'm willing to come back to work." The voice on the other end was ecstatic. "Really? Serena, you've finally come to your senses. You gave up your career for your family back then, it was a loss for the entire design industry. I'll arrange it for you right now." I agreed bitterly and immediately booked a flight for next month. Lydia happily posted on Facebook, and below her post, I saw Lucas. The Facebook photo was of him and his son with Mira at a dessert shop in the afternoon. The caption was, "Eating sweet things should be with sweet people." But they, father and son, usually hated desserts the most. Mira's overly bright smile completely stung my eyes. So it wasn't that they didn't eat sweets, it was just that the person who could make them eat sweets was never me. Someone commented below, "Lucas, aren't you afraid your wife will leave you like this?" Lucas only replied with 3 words, "She wouldn't dare." Yes, I didn't dare. Back then, I believed Lucas's nonsense about loving me forever and resolutely quit my job. I had been a housewife for 8 years. Now, besides them, father and son, I had nothing. In my dizziness, Lucas came over and handed me a box of cake. "Here, I remember you used to love strawberry flavor the most." The cake had been left out for too long, the strawberries on top had already sunk into the collapsed cream. What was this, something Mira didn't want after eating? I raised my hand and threw the cake directly into the trash can. Lucas was angry, gritting his teeth and scolding me, "Serena, what's wrong with you? Throwing away trash." After hearing this, his anger intensified. "I even thought of buying you a gift especially for our wedding anniversary today, and you are simply ungrateful." "Yes. I am ungrateful. From today on, whatever you buy, I'll throw it away." Lucas raised his hand, but his fist didn't land on me, instead, it smashed hard on our wedding photo. As he left, the photo frame fell to the ground and shattered into pieces. I squatted down and silently cleaned up. Amidst the shattered pieces on the floor, I realized that when I cried, I looked 70% like Mira. I didn't pick it up anymore but looked at the photo and tore it to shreds. The next day, Lucas got up early. Someone who hadn't cooked in 8 years rarely made a table full of breakfast by himself. Mira sat happily eating. Lucas, you are so good to me. Silly girl, if I'm not good to you, who would I be good to? I made your favorite shrimp filling. Your body is weak, you need to nourish it more. Yes, pretty aunt, eat this is delicious. The three of them sat at the table, looking so harmonious as if I were the outsider. Seeing me come, Lucas cleared his throat. I made shrimp soup dumplings, have some. Yes, the soup dumplings Lucas made are delicious, try them. Mira said as she picked up a soup dumpling and put it in my bowl. I expressionlessly dumped the soup dumpling into the trash can. Mira's eyes immediately turned red. Serena, even if you have opinions about me, you shouldn't waste Lucas's kindness. 30 Seeing her cry, Lucas felt distressed. He coldly scolded me. Serena, I tolerated it last night. This morning, you're putting on a dead face for whom to see. Can't you stop making a fuss? I have a stomach ulcer and can't eat seafood, don't you know that? Lucas was stunned. When Caleb was young and fussy, to take care of him, my diet was always irregular. Over time, I also developed stomach problems. Perhaps he himself doesn't remember. He used to pick out shrimp from pizza for me bit by bit. Mira blinked. It doesn't matter if you have a stomach ulcer, even if I take stomach medicine, I would still eat the breakfast. Lucas made himself completely. Caleb sarcastically chimed in, exactly, the pretty aunt is not as pretentious as some people. Lucas was no longer distracted and smiled indulgently. All right, little ancestor, it's good that you have this intention, your current body can't withstand such tossing. I didn't want to continue watching their melodramatic performance, so I directly threw down my chopsticks. Then you'd better eat it all, don't leave any trash. After returning to my room, I began to focus on studying my old profession. After all, I had been out of touch with design for 8 years, so it was inevitable that I was a bit rusty. But the laughter outside was so loud that it was hard for me to concentrate. Mira asked Caleb with a smile outside, what do you think of your mom? She's so annoying. Nagging all day, dressing like a beggar, and always restricting me from eating snacks. Mira giggled beside him, what about me? You take me out to play and buy me delicious food, you're really nice. Then do you want to recognize me as your godmother? Caleb immediately called her godmother sweetly. Inside the room, I felt a chill to the bone again. Caleb was born weak and needed more careful care than normal children. Lucas had never taken care of him because of company affairs. All these years, I had to quit my job and raise him bit by bit. But I didn't expect that in his heart, I was far inferior to a stranger who took him out to eat, drink, and have fun. The crackling sound outside the window brought me back to my senses. It was raining. Remembering the flowers I had placed on the balcony earlier, I hurried out to retrieve them, but the flowers on the balcony had already been maliciously trampled beyond recognition. Before I could feel distressed, I heard a click of the lock. The balcony door was locked from the outside. Caleb, open the door. I desperately pounded on the door. But I could only see Caleb calling Mira outside, Godmother, come and see the drenched chicken. Mira smiled and tapped his head. Little rascal, let's go, Godmother will take you to buy snacks. Yay! Caleb ignored me and happily held Mira's hand as they went out. Thunder and lightning flashed in the sky, and I huddled in the corner, feeling completely chilled from body to heart. It wasn't until the last petal fell that Lucas let me out from the balcony. Under the bright lights, my face was pale, and my hair was drenched by the rain, looking like a ghost. Mira covered her mouth and pretended to be silly. Oh, Serena, what happened to you? Caleb hid behind her, making faces at me. When Lucas found out, he just frowned at me. Serena, you're such an adult, how can you still be locked up on the balcony? Be more careful next time. I didn't say anything, I just wanted to grab Caleb. Lucas got anxious and pushed me away. What are you doing? Are you going to argue with a child? He doesn't understand, and neither do you? I was pushed by him and fell to the ground unsteadily, very embarrassed. Caleb burst into laughter. In this trial, I, the thorough victim, became the only defendant. I looked at them, father and son, and laughed mockingly, once, then again. Then I got up and walked towards them expressionlessly. They originally thought I was coming to make peace, and both big and small faces showed uncontrollable teasing. Slap slap I slapped each of them. Caleb's eyes widened, covering his face and crying for Mira to hold him. I don't want you. You bad mom. You're a vicious gossip. No wonder no one wants you. Lucas was even more furious at this moment. He was panting heavily as he looked at me. Mira, on the other hand, knew how to play the good person. She held Lucas back and started criticizing me. Sister Serena, Caleb is still a child, how can you, as his mother? Slap noisy. I had wanted to hit her for a long time. At this moment, seeing Mira faint on cue, Caleb was also scared and stopped crying. 55 Lucas hurriedly carried her out, and before leaving, he threatened me, if Mira's condition worsens, I'll make you pay. Perhaps afraid that I would abuse Caleb at home, he dragged his son away too. Good that they all left, the house was finally quiet. Yesterday, I was drenched in the rain on the balcony for an afternoon, and at midnight, I had a fever. I struggled to find fever medicine. In a daze, I felt someone approaching me. I tried hard to open my eyes and saw Mira's contemptuous and disdainful look. Serena, you really look like a dog now. If I hadn't got abroad back then, would Lucas have even looked at you? As if thinking of something, she laughed shyly. But it doesn't matter, now Lucas only loves me, and your son only recognizes me as his mom. Oh, a woman like you might as well just die. Furious, I shook my head and instantly became much clearer. Seeing that she was about to speak again, I directly raised my hand and slapped her again. Mira curled her lips and fell straight back, coincidentally into the arms of Lucas, who had just opened the door and come in. Mira cried in his arms like a pear blossom in the rain. Lucas, I was just worried that Serena was still angry, so I came to see her, and she hit me again. Saying that, she covered her chest. Lucas, it hurts so much, I've been hit twice in a row, I really can't take it anymore, am I going to die? Lucas's face was gloomy, he grabbed my neck. Serena, do you know that Mira is a patient now? You've hurt her again and again today, you're trying to kill her. Suddenly losing the ability to breathe, my brain was buzzing. It wasn't until I was almost suffocating that Lucas let go of me. He glared at me viciously. Really, kindness is taken for granted. Mira finally came back from the hospital, and you're deliberately making her suffer. After saying that, he was about to carry Mira to the hospital again. This time, she stopped him, and after some persuasion, they went into the master bedroom together. Soon, sounds of male and female pleasure came out. I had no mood to care if they were having an affair, my body temperature was higher, and my heart and stomach were burning with pain. I squatted down for a long time before getting up to find fever medicine and take it. Fortunately, because of Mira's matter, the Lou father and son didn't come home for several days, and I had some peace. But soon, something that gave me a headache came. The school teacher called, saying Caleb had a fight at school. I called Lucas back, but he hung up immediately. I pursed my lips and sent a text message again. Caleb had an incident at school, go and check. I'm not free. After that, there was no more response. Just like every time before, when Caleb had an issue, his father always disappeared beautifully. This time, since he wasn't going, then neither would I. But I miscalculated one thing, the contact number left with the elementary school teacher was mine. I was bombarded with calls and couldn't work on my design drafts, so in the end, I had to go out. But as soon as I arrived, I saw Mira beside Caleb. Suddenly, there were two moms, and the teacher was a bit confused. Caleb pointed at me and shouted in front of everyone, "She's not my mom, she's our family's maid." Then he affectionately leaned close to Mira, "This is my mom." Mira smiled and touched his head, looking at me with undisguised triumph. "Serena, why don't you go back? I'm here." I stood there, almost numbly watching these two intimate people. Fine, since he had already chosen. From now on, Mira would be his mother. Caleb, you're right, from now on, Mira is your mom, and I'll pretend I never gave birth to you. In the following time, I lived at home like an invisible person, indifferent to everything. I locked myself in the room, immersed in design all day. And I got a message from Lydia that Mira's medical record was fake. I closed my eyes and thought about her behavior during this time. Actually, her lies were very clumsy, it was just that Lucas's love covered for her, and he chose to turn a blind eye to the flaws. I silently kept the evidence, preparing to give it to Lucas as a gift before leaving. Perhaps used to my previous cold attitude, Lucas was somewhat unaccustomed to my current state. He rarely spared some time from Mira for me, starting to send me flowers and gifts, as if returning to the time when we were in love. Back then, he said Lucas would love Serena for a lifetime. But a lifetime was too short, it didn't even last 8 years. And now, I would no longer expect that ridiculous love. On my birthday, Lucas said he wanted to give me a surprise. And his gift was indeed a surprise. It was a divorce agreement. Lucas's face was ashen. Mira's condition has worsened. For someone to sign during the treatment process, Jiang-Wan, let's divorce first. I promise, once Mira gets through this, we'll remarry immediately. Afraid that I wouldn't agree, he explained and swore. But he didn't need to do that at all. I would definitely sign this divorce agreement. Of course, before signing, I demanded that all the property be transferred to my name. Lucas rarely frowned, but afraid that I would change my mind, he finally said nothing and signed dashingly. I glanced at Caleb beside me. Who are you going with? Caleb snorted, looking at me with disdain. Of course, I'm going with Dad, we are the family. After saying that, he made a few faces at me and then ran to Lucas's side, holding his hand. I nodded. Last time at school, you said Mira was your mom. Indeed, you finally got what you wanted. Congratulations. I didn't care about the reaction of the two behind me. After putting the divorce agreement into my bag, I went back to pack my things. Since getting married, I had devoted all my attention to them, father and son, and had very few personal belongings. In less than 10 minutes, I finished packing and left this place where I had lived for 8 years. On the other side, Lucas looked at the divorce certificate in his hand, feeling a faint pain in his heart. He always felt like he had lost something important. But looking at Mira's smiling eyes on his phone screen, he forced himself to comfort himself. I loved him so much, no matter how bastardly he was, I could endure it. This time it would certainly be the same as before. It was just a few tantrums, I would never leave him. But when he got home and saw the obviously tidied room, Lucas's face turned pale, and his blood froze. He rushed into my room like a madman, only to see the divorce gift I left for him on the table. Evidence of faking cancer. Mira continued to belittle me without knowing the situation. Lucas, look at this Serena, she ran away from home just because of this little thing, she's so immature, unlike me, I wouldn't. Lucas's hand holding the evidence was shaking, he threw the stack of papers directly at Mira's face, hitting her painfully. Mira was stunned, but when she saw the contents of the file, her legs went weak, and she sat down on the spot. Lucas, it's not like that, listen to me, I just love you too much. But Lucas couldn't listen anymore. He only knew that this time, I really didn't want him anymore. Without the burden of the family, I felt completely relaxed returning to the workplace. I heard that Lucas had been looking for me, but the country is so big, and I deliberately hid my identity. His actions were like looking for a needle in a haystack. Especially since he recently couldn't spare the energy to find me. After divorcing me, Mira was too impatient to take my place and directly bribed reporters to report to everyone that she and Lucas were getting married. As a result, the news of Lucas abandoning his wife for a mistress instantly topped the hot searches, and the company's stocks plummeted like a suicide jump. Even more interestingly, 3 days later, Lucas publicly divorced again. This wave of flash marriage and flash divorce instantly became the talk of countless onlookers. But I didn't have time to take a bite now. After half a year, the jewelry I designed was officially launched. At the banquet, celebrities gathered, and glasses clinked. I couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Indeed, this was where I truly belonged. I was so stupid to give up my career for Lucas back then. Godmother, this is especially delicious, try it. Emma happily walked towards me with a plate, picked up a piece, and brought it to my mouth. She was Lydia's child. Lydia had helped me a lot before, and now that she was abroad on business, I naturally had to take good care of Emma. I smiled and squatted down, but before I could eat the dessert Emma handed me, she was pushed to the ground, and the cake and plate in her hand also fell to the ground, shattering into pieces. Don't you touch my mom. I quickly helped Emma up, carefully checked to make sure she wasn't cut, and then frowned at the child who had pushed her. It was Caleb. Seeing me look at him, Caleb aggrievedly stepped forward and called me, Mom. I picked up Emma, not wanting them to have any more contact, and then looked at him very coldly. Don't call me, I'm not your mom. Unexpectedly, one day I would treat him so coldly, and Caleb's eyes immediately turned red. Emma was even more frightened and trembling. I had to comfort her softly, holding her and coaxing her repeatedly. Lucas soon noticed the abnormality here and walked towards me. I held Emma and turned to leave, but he still grabbed me. Lucas said hoarsely, Serena, I finally found you. Do you know how I've been these days? I shook him off, looking very impatient. Mr. Lucas, please behave yourself. Are you still angry with me because of Mira? She pretended to be sick to deceive me before, but now I know all this. I've already told her to get lost. Let's get back together, okay? As he spoke, he took out a pair of ceramic figurines from his pocket. I know, when you left, you only didn't take this. Now I'm giving it back to you. Let's be a family again, okay? That was the token of love when we prayed for fate at the temple back then. I chuckled and took it. A light instantly flashed in Lucas's eyes. The next second, I smashed the ceramic on the ground into pieces. The porcelain shards splashed, cutting his arm and also scratching Caleb's face, causing him to burst into tears instantly. But what did that have to do with me? He was no longer my child. 111 and Lucas was too busy with himself to care about Caleb. Moreover, he had never cared. The light in Lucas's eyes was completely shattered. It's just trash, of course, I wouldn't take it. Lucas, we're all adults, since we chose to divorce, let's part on good terms. Pretending to be affectionate is disgusting. After saying that, I turned and left, too lazy to even spare a glance at them, father and son. But Lucas didn't give up, pulling my arm and continuing to pester me. Serena, our 8 years of relationship, is it worth nothing to you? And Caleb, can you bear to let him become a motherless child? Listening to his painful questioning, I felt no fluctuation in my heart and even found it laughable. I covered Emma's ears, not letting her hear these dirty things. If possible, I only wish I had never met you two, father and son. Lucas still wanted to come forward, and I impatiently slapped him back. Lucas, you don't want to be on the hot search for harassment tomorrow, do you? Serena. Before he could finish, he was interrupted by a female voice. Lucas, I finally see you. Mira ran over happily. Since Lucas found out she was pretending to be sick, he had completely abandoned her. But just last month, Mira found out she was pregnant. That meant she and Lucas had another chance to reconcile. Mira directly took Lucas's hand and placed it on her belly. Lucas, I have your child, we have a baby. Lucas looked at her, then at me, and his face turned pale. Serena, let me explain. Mira directly hugged his arm, triumphantly glancing at me. Some people are really thick-skinned. You've been dumped by Lucas, and you still shamelessly come back. Shut up. Lucas cursed while trying to break free from Mira, but she clung to him even tighter. And I took the opportunity while he was entangled to quickly slip away, leaving Lucas raging impotently in place. But slipping away was only temporary. Once he had my whereabouts, Lucas began to pursue me frantically. I expressionlessly blocked unknown calls time and time again. Finally, on the 10th time, I saw an unexpected person. Mira. She was now emaciated, with a haggard face, truly looking like someone in the late stages of cancer. Mira walked towards me step by step, covering her belly. I'm pregnant, the child is Lucas's. Oh. She stared at me intently, unwilling to give up, trying to find a trace of emotional fluctuation on my face. Finally, after her long observation, she got what she wanted. I frowned and said to her, "You're blocking my light." Mira gritted her teeth and said viciously, "If you know what's good for you, leave Lucas obediently now." Hearing her words that turned black into white, I laughed and flipped through Lucas's 99+ missed calls. "See for yourself who is pestering whom. I also want to ask you to keep him in check, don't let him come out to bite people all day." After seeing the call records, Mira completely broke down. She looked at me with resentment and shouted, "Serena, what do you have that's so good? Why would Lucas abandon me for you?" After saying that, she directly grabbed my hand and pushed it towards herself. I exclaimed that it was bad and tried to withdraw my hand, but I could only watch her fall in front of me. I looked at her with a complicated expression, hearing Mira's painful cry, "Lucas, our child is gone. It's all Serena, she pushed me. She killed our child." Listening to her cries, I looked up and saw Lucas standing aside, his gaze complex as he looked at the bloodstain under Mira. Then, he stepped forward and, in front of Mira, asked me with concern if I was okay. Mira shouted in disbelief, "Lucas." Lucas tooted, his disgusted expression unmasked, "Mira, you're really disgusting." Lucas pursed his lips and apologized to me, "Serena, I'm sorry, I really didn't expect her to find you. I beg you to give me another chance, I will definitely protect you." I looked at him and laughed sarcastically, "If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have encountered such disgusting things." He choked, lowering his gaze and unable to speak. "If you have any conscience left, take your mistress and son and get out of my life." After saying that coldly, I started the car and left without looking back. It was getting late, I should go pick up Emma. At the kindergarten entrance, I saw Caleb again. His face showed no emotion, but his tightly clenched fists betrayed his current mood. I sneered inwardly, these two are truly father and son, taking turns. I directly ignored him and walked straight to Emma. Caleb trotted to follow me, but seeing me vigilantly protecting Emma in front of me, his face turned pale. He understood that he would never again be the child I protected in my arms. "Mom. I know I was wrong, please come back. I'll be good and obedient from now on, be your good child." By the end, his voice was tinged with sobs. I squatted down and told him word by word, "Have you forgotten? We were never a family." Although I knew it was wrong to think this way, I inexplicably felt a sense of satisfaction. In a daze, Caleb sobbed and tried to throw himself into my arms. I came back to my senses, frowned, and directly dodged. Then I called the police and had them send him home. When Caleb was taken away, he was still heartbroken, calling me Mom, Mom. But on that day on the balcony in the storm, I begged him to let me out in the same way. At that time, he let the storm engulf me, just as I wouldn't turn back now. Between him and me, the mother-son bond was completely severed. Not long after I got home and settled down, Lucas's calls came flooding in. I hung up time and time again expressionlessly. But the person on the other end had no intention of stopping and stubbornly continued to call. I blocked him, and he changed to another number. I was annoyed by him to the point of no return, finally pinching my brow and answering irritably. As soon as the call connected, Lucas's tone was first joyful, then extremely anxious. "Serena, Caleb is sick, come and see him quickly." If it were the old me, I would probably have been anxious beyond measure. He didn't inherit all my traits, instead, he inherited all of Lucas's bad genes, and I really couldn't muster a shred of maternal love in my heart. My voice was calm, "If he's sick, go to the doctor, what are you looking for me for? He can't be cured. If he can't be cured, find a doctor with better skills." Lucas was silent for a moment, then told me with difficulty, "Caleb has depression." "Depression?" I frowned, never expecting things to develop this way. Before I could think it through, Lydia's message came. There were some flaws in the jewelry I designed. "Then find a psychologist, he doesn't like me, you can find Mira, he recognizes her as his mom." I immediately put aside everything and devoted myself wholeheartedly to the revisions. It wasn't until night fell that I lifted my head from a pile of draft papers. My stomach began to protest my neglect. I put down my pen and prepared to go out to buy groceries. But as soon as I opened the door, I saw Lucas. He was hunched over, leaning against the car, his eyes bloodshot, no longer the spirited man he used to be. Seeing me come, he directly knelt down, pulling my pant leg and begging, his eyes shattered and humble, "Caleb's condition is really bad now. The doctor says it's a heart disease. Please, Serena, just go see the child." As he spoke, he crawled 2 steps on his knees and pressed his forehead against my shoe. "Really, please." Seeing more and more people gathering around, and some recognizing him, I had no choice but to agree to go see Caleb with him. Lucas was very happy to see me agree. In the car, he frantically expressed how much he missed me these days. During this time, I reflected on myself. I was a bastard before, and you were so good, it was all my fault. But fortunately, you're still willing to come back to see Caleb, he'll be very happy to see you. But I closed my eyes and only replied with one word, noisy. Lucas obediently shut his mouth, afraid that I would change my mind and leave. When we arrived at the Liu residence, I saw Caleb sitting in a chair, speechless, his eyes blank, clutching the stuffed bunny in his arms. He'd thrown it into the trash before, but had found it again at some point. The outer fabric was stained beyond belief, the cotton showing through, but Caleb clutched it tightly to his chest as if it were a treasure. Lucas tentatively called him twice. He only glanced, with no fluctuation in his dead black eyes, but the next second, Caleb's scattered gaze instantly focused. He suddenly got up and ran towards me, and midway, because he was running too fast, he stumbled and fell. Caleb hugged my waist tightly. "Is this a dream? Mom actually came to see me." I was a bit hurt by his grip and was about to ask him to loosen it when I heard him murmuring, "It's better in dreams. Here, Mom is only mine." I tried to push him away for a while but couldn't, so I had no choice but to let him hold me. Lucas said that his sleep quality had been very poor recently, often unable to sleep all night. But in my arms, he fell asleep in less than half an hour. And from his exposed collar, I noticed several scars. Following my gaze, Lucas grabbed his hair and angrily explained to me, "This was all done by that bitch Mira. I really didn't expect her to abuse Caleb when I wasn't paying attention." While speaking, he observed my expression, hoping to find a trace of heartache on my face. But I just responded indifferently, "Oh." This was all within expectations. Mira hated me so much that after driving me away, how could she possibly treat the child I gave birth to kindly? I had someone take Caleb back to his room, then got up. "All right, he's asleep, I should go now." Lucas hurriedly chased after me, wanting to see me off, but I refused. But on the way, people around me cast strange looks at me. "Isn't this the woman mentioned online?" "I think so, she looks pretty, how could she do such dirty things?" I frowned and opened my phone, then found an unexpected hot search. It was a video of Mira accusing me and Lucas. She said Lucas abandoned his wife and child, and I was the instigator of everything, causing their relationship to break down, and even hitting her to the point of miscarriage. In the video, she cried like a pear blossom in the rain, sobbing, "No mother would use her own child to slander others." Her action was very successful. Lucas's company, which was already severely damaged, saw its stocks plummet again due to this round of public opinion. And I was labeled as shameless and a murderer. But, with just a few flimsy lies, she wanted to guide public opinion to cyberbully me? I laughed. Since she was seeking death, I would send her off more thoroughly. Mira thought there was no surveillance that day when she framed me, but she didn't know that my dashcam was always on. I posted everything Mira had done back then on Instagram, including that fake report and the dashcam footage from a few days ago. With irrefutable evidence, public opinion reversed again. Lucas's company also issued a statement of appeal. Mira instantly turned from a pitiful victim to a despised mistress. And as the biggest victim in this, while gaining widespread sympathy, I also gained immense exposure and fame. This was a great boost for the future launch of my jewelry. Even better, Lucas didn't come to harass me recently. Mira's matter kept him extremely busy, and even if he appealed, it was different from me. Because those things, he had really done. After reorganizing the next issue of Jewelry, I stretched and prepared to leave work, but at the company entrance, I saw Mira with disheveled hair. During this time, due to her self-incrimination, she had directly become a street rat, despised by everyone. And Lucas also pressured from above, completely cutting off her source of income. Now, even street sweeping jobs didn't want her. Mira looked at me with a ferocious face. "Bitch, since you harmed me, don't think you can live either." As she spoke, she took out a knife from behind and stabbed at me. "Serena, be careful." The expected pain didn't come. I was pushed away by a strong force, and when I opened my eyes again, all I saw was Lucas lying in a pool of blood and Mira holding the knife with a ferocious face. People around hurriedly came forward to control her, and I looked at Lucas. His face was covered in blood, but he still tried hard to touch my face, tears mixing with blood flowing down, smearing his whole face. "Serena, I'm sorry, really sorry." He murmured apologies to me until his hand slid off my face. The police quickly arrived and arrested Mira. When she was put into the police car, she looked like a mad demon, grinding her teeth viciously at me. "Serena, I will kill you, I will definitely kill you." I was expressionless and immediately contacted a lawyer afterward. I wanted her to get what she deserved. In the end, Mira was sentenced to death for intentional homicide. As for Lucas, he died on the spot due to ineffective rescue. In his will, he left all his shares and property to me. I took over everything without any burden, then sold them and donated the proceeds to children in poor mountainous areas. Caleb was also sent by me to the best institution in the country for treating psychological diseases. Pain cannot be healed by time, and mistakes cannot be solved by apologies. I was always unwilling to see him again. After arranging everything, I put all my energy into work. Finally, my designed works made it to the international stage. That day, it was spring with flowers blooming, and the sky was clear. The thunderous, long-lasting applause around me told me that I had succeeded. After enduring the long night, I finally saw the dawn.